Hi, I'm Laura Humphries, Senior Database Marketing and Insight Manager at Plan International UK.
And I'm Nick Cook, Principal Solution Consultant at Woodford Salocin.
We're really pleased to be a finalist in this year's Best Use of Apteco software and delighted to be able to showcase Plan's new automated email campaigner welcome journey and share how we've transformed our campaigners' experience using Fast Stats and People Stage with amazing support from our Apteco and data partner, Woodford. Before I go into detail, I'd like to tell you a bit more about Plan. Plan International UK is a global children's charity striving for an equal world, one where every child can reach their full potential and every girl can choose her own future. Poverty, violence and discrimination still hold back millions of children around the world, and it's often girls that are most affected. That's why ensuring girls get equal chances in life is at the heart of everything we do. We work across more than 80 countries to build a future where every child is safe and receives an education. A world where all girls are free from violence, in control of their own body, know their rights and have their voices heard. And if disaster strikes, we're there too. We work to protect children, keep them learning and help their communities recover. But we don't do it alone. To create lasting change, we work together with children, local communities, partners and our supporters who believe a better future is possible. We won't stop until we're all equal, which is why we wanted to develop this important welcome journey to ensure our supporters who took advocacy actions with us were welcome to Plan and received the best onboarding experience so they continue to support Plan to give every child every chance. So what was the challenge we were faced with and why did we need to enlist the support of Woodford and Apteco? The main challenge we faced was that we didn't have a holistic view of our supporter base, as our campaigning data and donor data sat across different databases. There was a lot of time-consuming manual data manipulation that had to happen to cross-reference the two systems. So we were running recruitment campaigns, asking people to take advocacy actions, but due to the way our systems were set up internally, we were unable to take supporters on an onboarding welcome journey and give them the best possible introduction to Plan and harness their support for the long term. This meant that when we asked our campaigning audience to take further action with us, few took another action and very few made a donation because they didn't feel connected to the cause. So we initiated the database marketing program to join up our data silos, create a single supporter view and implement Fast Stats People Stage and Orbit to help solve these challenges. We went live with our Apteco solution in 2021, where we opted to take Fast Stats on the Analyzer bundle and People Stage on the Campaigner bundle. Whilst we got to grips with using Fast Stats for selections and analysis, we asked Woodford to support in planning and executing our first supporter journey using People Stage, as this was a completely new functionality for us and fairly complex. The journey went live in September 22, and as we had a number of campaigning action plans to support our flagship Crime Not Compliment campaign to make public sexual harassment a crime in the UK. With ambitious targets to recruit new campaigners to support this important campaign and knowing that supporters are most engaged at point of taking their first action with an organisation, we needed to define and deliver a welcome journey that converted the initial interest in Plan International UK into long-term support.
Thank you, Laura. I'll now take you through the solution that we at Woodford put in place to meet these requirements. Following a series of workshops with Laura and the DMIT team, it was decided that a journey of 9 emails would be put in place, with each email being sent X number of days after a supporter had taken their first campaigning action. We achieved this using the power of the on-the-fly aggregation functionality in Fast Stats. And then where the first email is sent directly out of the Engaging Networks platform, the data then enters CARE, their CRM system, and then as long as the record meets the entry criteria, the supporter will enter the journey. It's from then here that the journey has 8 further emails, some email skips, 2 different mid-journey exits, and some grouped audience segments, which I'll now tell you about. The first bit I want to talk about is around the email skipping. Email 7 and email 9 were not always required to be sent, and this was due to the current campaigning activity at the time would mean these are not relevant. And therefore the team asked a way that we could put in place to stop this from happening without them having to make multiple amends to the journey time after time. Global skip is a functionality we put in place to achieve this requirement, which is driven simply by a virtual variable with a Y or an N, where N means that the email won't be skipped. As we can see on the graphic shown below, records are currently flowing through email 7. This means that global skip is currently off. The users can then simply go into the interface, make a change to this variable, and put a Y in it to skip the email. And as soon as they save this virtual variable and the next time the campaign runs, records will then bypass this email automatically and flow to the next pool. The next piece I wanted to talk to you about was the multiple exit pools. Supporters flow through this journey and it can last up to a month. And there'll be several reasons why they may need to exit the journey. It might be the supporter meets the standard exclusion criteria for the journey, whether they're identified as a junior or deceased, etc., or they no longer have a marketing email address or consent is denied. Depending on which one of these a supporter meets, they'll flow to the relevant pool. And we do this because we also load the journey history into FastStats so that the users can simply go in and easily identify these supporters based on which pool they exited from to make other decisions with. The final piece I wanted to talk about was the audience segments. With some scenarios where email 7 is not being sent, the team didn't want a huge gap between email 6 and email 8 being sent. They asked us, in the scenario where email 7 is being sent, they wanted email 8 to go out to 21 days after the campaigner took their first action. And in the scenario where it's not being sent, they wanted email 8 to go out at 18 days. We used the power of people stage, audience groupings, inclusions and exclusions to easily achieve this. We can see on the blue section, this is for people who have not received email 7. So we have an exclusion based on this and an inclusion where supporters have taken their first action 18 days ago. And then on the right-hand side, we have the people who have received email 7. So we simply have an include section for people who have been 21 days since their first action. Laura and I will now tell you about the results of the journey. But before I pass back to Laura, I just want to cover off the email engagement results that we saw. As we all know, it's really important to keep a supporter engaged from their first action. We were really pleased to see that across all of the emails in this journey, we saw an open rate of over 30%. Coupled with this, we also saw an unsubscribe rate of less than 1.8%. These two combined were a fantastic start to the results of this journey. I'll now pass back to Laura and she'll tell you about the rest of the results of the journey.
Thanks, Nick. So here are some of the other results we've seen. Firstly, the journey has increased the pool of our active campaigners and now accounts for 56% of supporters that have taken a campaign action in the past 12 months. Most supporters currently sit in our one-time only 12-month segment. However, it's encouraging to see that 13% of those new campaigners that have been on the journey have gone on to take 2 or more actions within 6 to 12 months. The programme's success lies in nurturing committed campaigners, as can be seen by the high number of supporters that have completed 2 or more campaign actions. Since the start of the programme, 2.4% of supporters have gone on to do 3 or more campaigning actions, demonstrating their commitment to the cause. We have also been able to gain valuable supporter insight from our supporter survey, along with messages of support to young people, which has enabled us to know supporters' needs and motivations and consider these for future journey optimisations. Whilst the upfront planning of the journey takes time, what we've been able to deliver to supporters is far beyond what was possible previously, and as a result, we're now able to create data selections more efficiently using FastStats and deliver personalised and timely communications using PeopleStage. This journey has provided us with a really good benchmark for future supporter journeys, and in the next 6 to 12 months, we're planning on optimising and testing within this journey and beyond to improve donor conversion rates and engagement. Whilst recognising the internal benefits from an external impact perspective, our flagship Crime Not Compliment campaign, delivered through a powerful partnership with Our Streets Now, engaged thousands of young activists, putting girls' voices at its heart. This has resulted in a new law which sends a clear message that public sexual harassment is unacceptable. It's a huge achievement and one which the actions garnered from the new journey contributed to. Proof that when we all work together, we can create real change for girls. Big thanks to the teams at Plan International UK, Wood for Trees and Apteco, and thanks to you for listening.